Hello, my name is Joe Fox from TMG. Today we're at the Cannes Yachting Festival and we're lucky enough to take a look on board this immaculate Dragonfly 40 from Dragonfly Trimarans in Denmark. Dragonfly are renowned for building fast, reliable and high performance trimarans. This family run business has created a great reputation the world over for these folding performance trimarans. Do step on board, it'd be great to show you through this model, show you some of the features and the general layout of this stunning Dragonfly 40. So the cockpit on this new Dragonfly 40 is in a class of its own when it comes to Dragonfly trimarans. The first model to have a twin helm setup. Traditionally a Dragonfly will have a single wheel like the 32 or like the 28 and the 25 Attila steered. So it's nice here with the extra width at the back of the boat because it's a larger model. We've got twin steering positions, which, you know, like any yacht, it's very useful to be able to position yourself over this side of the boat. And I can pretty much control and monitor everything on board from here. So I've got a 12-inch navigation screen and two MFD displays here. I've also got the same on the other side. Electric winches and bow thruster controls are here also. Just forward of the helm stations and quite importantly, well within reach, we have the main winches. Now these are used for main sheet trim, spinnaker trim, all the high power trimming that you need. As well as that, the folding mechanism for the Dragonfly's famous swing wing system. This is all done from these two positions on either side of the cockpit. A very clever system. It doesn't rotate the floats downwards. The anti-fouling or the copper coat that's on the bottom of the hull stays in the water. And the boats simply move backwards, decreasing the beam of the boat by up to about 45%. So very impressive system and makes this boat a very versatile boat for parking in marinas or lifting out of the water. A central main sheet system is located on the floor in the middle of the cockpit. This is nice, you don't have to step over anything. It does create a very clear passageway through and when you come forward into the social area of the cockpit. There is a table which you can mount in the cockpit, so for your lunch or for having an evening meal in the cockpit, this can be mounted on the aluminium bracket. Again, you know, just noticing the small things. Performance trimaran, the bracket could be made of stainless steel, but it's heavy, so made of aluminium just to decrease the weight overall of the vessel, but a very nice seating area with storage underneath as well. This area can also be covered with a bimini for sun protection. There are actually three sections, so there's an aft section over the wheels, there's a central section, and there is also a spray dodger, which would be the kind of thing you'd mount permanently to give that companionway a bit of protection. Just before we head down into the cabins, we're going to make our way around the deck of the boat. So as you move forward onto the trampoline and the working deck of this vessel, a nice feature that Dragonfly have done is they put a step here just on the outside of the cockpit, so you don't feel unsecure. You've got good places to stand, and then the actual solid part of the deck down the side of the cabin top is wide. You don't find yourself tiptoeing down it. The trampolines themselves are huge. Obviously it's a larger model than the 32, so it gives you plenty of working deck here, be it for dropping sails, hoisting asymmetrical spinnakers. The floats themselves are absolutely massive, so as well as providing much needed stability on a vessel of this type, they also provide exceptional storage. So there is one standard hatch that comes as standard, and there's an optional second hatch which opens up another section in the beam, effectively doubling the storage. So I think that's something I'd always go for. You can also option flexible solar panels on here, so for trickle charging your engine batteries, house batteries, very useful if the boat's on a mooring or spending a lot of time not connected to shore power. Also an option on the Dragonfly 40 is a aft door in the transom of one of the floats. This is great for storing kayaks or any long pieces of gear that you have on board while you're cruising. Moving up to the bow of the boat, there is a optional secondary anchor here just forward of the beam to starboard. A great backup, if you like, to the standard anchor, which is mounted under the bowsprit on the front. Very solid grab rail all the way around, nice and high, providing quite a nice working deck. On this model we also have a under the deck electric furler fitted on this one, so it keeps the deck super clean, and it's obviously push button furling from the cockpit. So sailing this vessel single-handed or with just 2 people would be no problem. It's a fast, powerful vessel, but it's set up in a way that's easy and simple to sail. From where I'm standing, you can see that incredibly good-looking reverse bow on the front of the float. Now, on the Dragonfly 40, in a departure from earlier models, the floats have been extended quite a lot. So, you know, previously the floats were shorter than the main hull. Now the floats are almost as long as the main hull. So this helps to reduce the pitching motion, and also when the boat powers up and that leeward bow gets a nice lot of weight put on it, there's ample buoyancy in there. And you know, I've sailed this boat recently in a bit of chop, not too wavy, but that hull is just happy to go at 15, 20 knots, whether it's on top of the water, half under the water. There's so much buoyancy in there, it doesn't really seem to mind, you know, whether it's buried or not. It just goes, and it gives that leeward bow plenty of float. So very cool design feature on this model. Optional code 0 on the bow of the boat, essential in light winds, really gives this boat that extra bit of push, controlled obviously from the cockpit as well. Asymmetrical spinnaker options are also available, which would be mounted on the very bow. So on this touring model we have the standard carbon rig fitted. We also have the brand mainfurl roller furling mainsail. Now this is a very clever system. It's very simple to drop, can be done by 1 or 2 people, and it's an incredibly high aspect mainsail. So there's a lot of square top in it, if you like. So it's a really nice shape. It's got a lot of power, captures a lot of wind, but can also be reefed, you know, very easily and safely when the weather does turn on you. So we'll make our way downstairs now and show you through the layout and the accommodation, the galley, and the social area of inside this vessel. So the companionway is quite steep as you come down, but you do feel very supported. You've got quite a solid wall either side of you. So if the boat was moving around in a sea, there's plenty to brace yourself on. So obviously sailing boats do move around when they're powered up, sailing in the ocean. Just down on port is a lovely galley, an L-shaped galley, plenty of storage, hidden storage, which I really like because it means you don't need to be too fussy about how you stow. You know that when you're sailing, your coffee beans and your tea bags are not going to be going all over the floor. A lovely stainless steel double sink with a removable chopping board. So often we don't know where to store chopping boards on boats, but we're going to put these just on top of the sink to make it a workable space. Food prep area along with a cooktop. Electric options and gas options are available. Great storage underneath the worktop, as well as an isotherm fridge. So everything in the galley is right here. I've just moved behind me now and into the back of the boat under the cockpit. A very large double berth. Now this is actually located underneath the cockpit, so you do go down to it. It is quite low, but it is absolutely massive. You do not expect it down here. Just one of the 2 great cabins that we have on this vessel as well. On the starboard side, as you come down the companionway, you have the main head, the only head, and the day head on the boat. It's a wet room with a drain in the base, shower, freshwater shower, sink just behind the door there. But plenty of natural light, which I like, because often, you know, toilet compartments and heads on boats, especially at the smaller end of the spectrum, they're lacking fresh air, which we have plenty of up here, and natural light, which we've got a whole window dedicated to this, so it's fantastic. The navigation station is in a standing position, plenty of place for logbooks, navigation, almanacs, all the rest of it, and all the systems controls and VHF, along with storage underneath. Moving forward, we have the main dining area. Now this is a 2-leaf table that drops down. You wouldn't even know it's a table. It doesn't impede the passageway as you come forward into the front cabin. Down the starboard side, we have these 2 incredibly comfy chairs, which would just feel like a very secure place to sit, you know, even when you're sailing along. Bit of a semi-storage / side table here, which would be perfect for a cup of tea. The table comes up, and this would be a very nice place to have dinner. We've got 2 seats down this side, and you could probably have 3 people comfortably down there, you know, even 4. So You've got dining, I'd say, for 6 people down here, nice and protected, and it's a lovely finish. It's all solid wood, so it really looks the part. Under my feet, I won't put it out now, but under my feet there is a platform, so that I don't, my feet aren't swinging in the air, but there is also a ledge, which I'd just be inclined to use the ledge, to be honest. I think that's more than acceptable. Right in the center of the saloon, the table is in quite a unique position in that it's exactly in the middle. Now the table is actually covering the centerboard box, so it's a lifting keel centerboard on this model, and they've designed it in a way so the centerboard can lift up without impeding on the saloon, and it doesn't, you know, get in the way. They've just made it work, which is a very clever way of doing it. Something also to note is natural light. So down each side of the saloon, just on the deck level, we've got 3 large tinted windows letting in plenty of light, but none of those warm, hot sun rays. Also 2 opening windows just in the freeboard about midships on the main cabin, as well as what's really impressive is 3 massive hatches, deck hatches in the roof. So they're all open at the moment. It's 31 degrees, but there's a 15 knot wind blowing, and it's really nice down here. We don't need aircon, the boat's not stuffy, and they've also of course got block out and fly screen function as well, so this is a really great natural air conditioning feature. Moving forward down the boat, we obviously have the compression post, incredibly important piece of kit on any vessel, but also nice when the boat is moving around offshore, or if you're in a bit of a sea, it's great to lean on as you walk past, a bit like when we came down the companionway hatch. A few storage lockers either side of the passageway here, making use of the space before we head into the forward V-berth, which, stepping through the bulkhead here, this is an incredibly strong part of the boat. It's one of the main bulkheads in the boat. 2 doors do slide, completely blocking it off. You know, it's a simple system. It's the simple door setup on simple rails. It's not overcomplicated, and it just works very nicely. A bit of storage in here either side of the entrance, and then the V-berth takes up the entirety of the forward cabin to give you as much accommodation as possible. With your feet towards the bow, you'd be quite comfortable in here. Plenty of ventilation as well, with what's that, a 1, 2, 3, a 4th deck hatch just above my head with the fly screen and the block out blind. So leaves little wanting, with a little storage shelf all the way around the edge as well. Important thing to note also on this model is the amount of underfloor storage. The accommodation in here is very impressive. It's not a 40-foot monohull, it's not a 40-foot catamaran, it's a 40-foot trimaran, and traditionally trimarans are skinnier in the main hull because they have the addition of the floats to keep them upright. But I think what's been done here is very clever. It's a big accommodation downstairs for a 40-foot trimaran. Really ticks a lot of boxes, and I think it'll tick a lot of boxes for our Australian clients as well, so it's great to see. My name is Joe Fox from TMG. We do hope you enjoyed this quite brief walkthrough on a Dragonfly 40. Thank you for coming along for the walkthrough. If you did enjoy the video, do like and subscribe. It'd be great to hear your feedback. And of course, we would be happy to talk to you about any of the Dragonfly range if you are interested in this impressive family-run business from Denmark.